Patch 10.2.5 incoming. Dragonflight, Seeds of Renewal. Let's take a look. First item up is kind of the conclusion to one of the most awkward stories in the history of storytelling, where the genocidal, mouth-breathing, slobbering, shit-covered hordes burned down the World Tree, with the assistance of their Horde Druid allies, by the way, betraying their own Druid brothers and sisters to burn down the World Tree and commit genocide against the Night Elves. But now, all is forgiven, we're on the same team, and we went and got a new tree at the World Tree Market in the Emerald Dream, and we brought it into the real world, or dreamed it into, I don't know what the fuck. It's a big-ass tree. There's no way I'm going to help move it. So whatever magic we have, let's do it that way. And now it's the new Night Elf home called Belemeth. Seems like everybody's ready to move on. Now, you'll remember my official position is that instead of doing all this World Tree shit, we should have gathered the armies of the Alliance and come down here and burn this giant pig pen down and wipe these hordes off the face of Azeroth. That was the appropriate response to the tree burning, but, you know, the jailer and all that shit happened. Dragon riding available worldwide. There you go, Dragon Riders. Now, a quick clarification. Is it dragon riding or is it dragon rowing? Row! 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 Easy, Dragon Riders. I'm just teasing you. These Dragonflighters get super upset about any criticism of their beloved dragon riding. There you go. You can fly all around in the old world now on your dragon riding mounts and dragon row away. Just make sure you look around and see how empty it is. Azerothian Archives. You know what this is. This is a go out and you farm and collect shit, and then you turn it in for, you'll never guess, mounts, toys, and T-Mogs. Now, I'm such a big fan of T-Mogs that, you know, I don't mind this stuff. It's fine. It is what it is. I'm wondering if these Azerothian Archives aren't going to be the new archaeology. Seems like it looks a lot like archaeology, but you can read into here if this is something that's really interesting to you. It's on their website. And, you know, you grab the research and it tells you about the lore and stories and stuff. So it's a nice way to tell the story, I guess. And then here's all the, probably a lot of these reskinned stuff that you could get. But that's fine. So, more T-Mogs, toys, and mounts by farming up research for the Azerothian Archives. That's a new addition there. Now, this is actually kind of exciting, right? Reclaiming Gilneas, because I think there's actually a lot of undead in there. And you guys know how I feel about killing undead. Makes me feel like a kid on Christmas morning. I'm kind of excited about this. We'll see how it plays out. And I might just do a walkthrough video where you can come with Oklahoma as we do this quest line. But I don't know. Maybe I won't, because I don't want to have to think about you guys while I'm doing it. Maybe I just want to enjoy it. Huh? We'll see. I don't know. But we're going to help reclaim Gilneas. Anytime we can spread the power of the Alliance and kick out undead scum, I'm in. The follower dungeons are here. If you're interested in the follower dungeons, I have a video called Lots of Bots that discusses the titillating prospects of AI, not only in follower dungeons, but in other areas. So you can check that out if you want a further breakdown of the AI dungeons and more. An Outland Cup, so you can go to the Burning Crusade and do dragon riding out in the Burning Crusade to get more T-Mogs and skins and stuff for your Drake. New character customizations. Trolls get some new looks. Warlock pets get some recolors. That's kind of neat. Here's something sweet for all the Drakthir players. Empowered Soaring, which means they get to dragon ride just by using their wings. I just could never buy into these. The big goofy feet and running around throwing up on everything just doesn't appeal to me. And I've always criticized their soggy wings too, but I guess now actually their wings get some use. That's kind of cool. And you ought to get something for just having to look at this thing on your screen. So there you go. Dragonflighting for the Drakthir. Although I think some of us are going to be a little jealous. They've changed the spell visuals on some of the Shadowland Covenant abilities, in particular for us Pallies here, Divine Toll. If you don't like it, don't freak out because they're going to add a way to revert them in the future. There's a bunch of class changes that I don't think even begin to address the problems from my understanding, but there's some in here. Player versus player. Wow. Oh my God. Just speechless. I mean, they've got time for all this shit, but my PvP crew gets that. Oh boy. All right. Well, I've done videos. I've complained. At this point, I can only laugh. And then once I get off of here, I'll cry. They have the best MMO PvP ever created, and they could give a shit about that entire community. You got content creators out here making content. You got people paying $15 a month just to PvP, and they could give a fuck about any of it. They just want to make Azerothian Archives. There's your PvP changes. Congratulations. And then there's some other shit down here that you can read about if you want to. I hate being read to, so I'll spare you. Let's talk about a couple things. This was an interesting thing. I saw a poll that was done on X where they talked about, to the people that are playing Warcraft, how many years have you been playing? And what do I always tell you? What do I always say is the number one problem with World of Warcraft, whether it's PvP or WoW in general? We need new players. And this poll indicates that. I'm going to bet if this poll goes on, this number goes down. And I've said this. They're making this game and all this stuff and all the changes and even a lot of the feedback they get comes from people that don't stop playing WoW. And look, I'm one of them, right? I'm not here at all 19, and this is really encouraging to me to see that there's as many people addicted to World of Warcraft as I am. We're addicts united. And I don't give a shit what anyone says. I think World of Warcraft and the world of Warcraft is awesome. And I still don't think there's another MMO that even touches it in a lot of aspects. And to be honest, I don't see anything in this patch that if you don't already play World of Warcraft is going to get you coming back. I mean, I think these things are fine, and there's something to be said about keeping your people that are paying you $15 a month happy. But I do really believe if we want this game to continue to get the funding and development support that it, I think, deserves, this is going to have to be addressed. This number's got to come up. I know this is just a poll on X. It's not scientific in any way, but to be fair to us, Blizzard hides the real information. So all we can do is speculate and draw from these types of these polls and stuff. Here's another poll that's very interesting that I saw where it's asking what version of WoW are you playing now. It doesn't delineate between Classic and Wrath. So I'm going to assume most of Classic is the Wrath players. I don't know how many people are playing original Classic. And then you've got the hardcore community, which I think is to be expected, kind of a smaller percentage of the community. But look at this Season of Mastery here. You guys are tearing it up in there, and I get it. I got to tell you, talking to the people that love it, and I got a few friends of mine that are just digging it, and it just seems like they love the level cap. They love the accessibility. People that haven't played WoW in a long time or really haven't played with their friends in a long time are able to do it. They love the pace. It's just, to be honest, it's a lot more casual friendly. Now, it's not without its problems. I mean, we got botting, and I mean, there are all types of issues in Season of Mastery as well. So it's not completely without problems, but that's kind of all games today kind of have the botting issue. I don't know that that's exclusive to Warcraft. And the more popular your game, the more attention you get, the more bots you get. It's a real problem, and I feel for them having to address it. It seems like when you develop these games now, you're going to have to develop them from the ground up, anticipating all the assholes that are going to try to ruin your community by botting. Assholes always make excuses for themselves, and they'll find a reason to justify their asshole behavior. But botting sucks, and people who bot suck worse. But it's the real world, and it is what it is, and it's going to be there. Some of the appeal here is in the level caps and the accessibility, but I also think a lot of people just like being in that old World of Warcraft rather than out here in all these new zones, new factions, new zones, new factions, kind of cycle that modern WoW's in. I just can't give up the PvP and retail WoW. I just can't. So you have to be excited that you have these game modes and they kind of appeal to all your players and they keep them all subs. So I think from a financial and business perspective, you're happy to keep all these afloat. But it is interesting to me because Dragonflight has been pumped full of support. I mean, they've had consistent patch updates. They've had roadmaps. You never got any of this shit in the old expansions. You'd go 6, 7, 8 months without any changes. So all of that work, and you still only have about half of your community interested in it. It's very interesting to me that people would rather run around at level 25 and do BRD raids or whatever than play your new, very supported expansion. I think it tells you a lot about your community. And it's really no big deal because they obviously plan to support both versions, which from a business move is very smart, of course. But it will be interesting to see as the classic modes continue to get developed if they don't actually overtake the modern version. Interesting times, and we'll have to see how that goes. One of the things I think we have to applaud Blizzard for is that in past expansions, a big complaint was content drought, and Dragonflight has most certainly addressed that issue. My only concern is the content what's actually needed, and is it addressing your major problem, which I think is bringing in new players. And then when you look at the patch notes and see that there's 2 PvP changes, it's just really discouraging, I think, for a lot of people that really love this game and really want to see it succeed and want to see it thrive. And I still think, again, World of Warcraft is an awesome game, and it's without peer in a lot of ways. I know a lot of people are going to be excited about some of the changes coming, and there's nothing wrong with just playing to your base. But ready or not, here comes another heaping serving of Dragonflight and 10.2.5. Get it while it's hot. Oklahoma out.